Welcome to Mo Health Media. My name is Diane H, and we want to welcome you to a new broadcast. And we have a very special treat for you as we're going to be on the topic of early childhood physical activity. And I'd like to bring in our guests. And we have with us Lisa Farmer, who for some of our audience, you should know who she is, probably most infamously known for Tasty Tuesday. And we're also going to be joined with Dr. Diane Kraft, and I'm so excited that you are all here. And Lisa, let's start with you. If you could give our audience a little background about you, that'd be great.
Well, hi, Guy. I am a senior nutritionist with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, Bureau of Community Health and Wellness, and I am the ECE lead on the Missouri Physical Activity and Nutrition CDC grant.
All right. That's real exciting. So you're playing a couple roles today, which is kind of fun.
Yes, I am.
All right. So with that, we're also joined by Dr. Diane Kraft. And Dr. Kraft, I was wondering if you could just give us a little bio. As you know, this is your area of expertise, as we're going to be talking all things early childhood physical activity. So give us a little background about you.
Okay, great. So I'm Professor Emeritus of Adapted Physical Education from State University of College at Cortland. And a little over 2 decades ago, I became very interested in early childhood physical activity. So I've authored some books on that and have the privilege of consulting with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as their subject matter expert on early childhood physical activity, which is how I get to work with Missouri now.
This is so exciting, and welcome to Mo Health Media. So with that, Lisa, why don't you talk to us a little bit about this new recognition program?
Will do. I'm excited to be on Mo Health Media. And so Missouri MoveSmart Childcare Recognition is a program that recognizes childcare facilities for following best practices in physical activity with children from birth through age 5. And the recognition is awarded by Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. A MoveSmart Childcare actually defines and teaches how to implement 12 practices that can make a big difference in how active children are at a childcare facility. And MoveSmart was created in 2013 and revised in 2018, and we have invited Dr. Kraft to help celebrate the launch of our revised program.
Very exciting. So with that, let's go dive right in. And Diane, if you could tell us a little bit about, why you're excited for yourself to be, in this area of expertise.
All right, sure. So years ago, and with my background in adapted physical education, I began working with a colleague, Renee McCall, on early childhood physical activity for children with special needs. And it didn't take long to realize that there was very little information out there on physical activity with young children who are typically developing. So it became evident that the background that I and those of us in physical education and motor development have is not known by most people in early childhood education. So that started the passion of, okay, let's share what we know about having children become more skillful movers with those who actually care for young children before their school age.
So with that, then here's the question I have. Then how does this tie into COVID? Because obviously this is a big reason why you're also here today, is to tie in that COVID piece, because we know there's been some disruptions, of course. I was wondering if you can maybe speak to that.
Certainly. Well, physical activity is important for everybody on all occasions. But when it comes to COVID, I think of the quote that a colleague of mine, Arlene Turner, has. Physical activity, or active play, which is physical activity with young children, is the antidote for toxic stress. And right now, everybody's probably experiencing heightened levels of stress thanks to COVID and the pandemic. So physical activity is a very valuable tool to help us deal with that stress. And of course, that stress is felt by young children as well. So being able to play in active ways to use their body is a great way to try to deal with the stress we're experiencing now.
Absolutely. And with that, I was wondering maybe if you could speak to, again, just so people know, when we're talking about early childcare, that's birth through age 5, and maybe you could talk a little about the ECE description.
Certainly, early care and education refers to children from birth on up through age 5. So it's before school age.
Okay, and so that's going to be then the focus of what you're going to be talking about the rest of the time will be birth through age 5. And again, I do have an exercise science background, and I told you before camera, I was kind of surprised that I don't really remember, when I was studying that, where we really covered the topic of early childhood from a physiology standpoint. Is that kind of common, or, what's your thoughts on that?
It's extremely common. Motor development will cover birth on up through the lifespan, but the other areas, like my area, physical education and exercise physiology and so forth, don't tend to focus on that area, which I view as unfortunate because, again, the foundations for things, for movement skills are being laid following birth. And the opportunity to move when a young child has a lot to do with the skill level that we'll have throughout our lives. So early childhood physical activity is really important, but often neglected.
Absolutely. And with that, I was wondering, do you have any kind of physical activity that you'd like to show us and our audience?
Certainly. One of my favorites is Swat the Fly, created by my husband, Craig Smith. And if you want to get children to exercise their heart, to work on their cardiovascular endurance, and have a lot of fun while doing it, this is the one.
All right, let's roll the clip.
See the fly? There's one on this side too. And this is a pool noodle, but you know what? Now it's a fly swatter. We're going to swat the fly. Run! Get him, Shaylee! Get him! Here you go. Do you want fly or fly swatter? Okay. Here we go. You want to run with the fly? Run, Shaylee! Run, Shaylee! Run!
Swat the Fly, an original with us, gives children a great cardiovascular workout, running around dragging or swatting flies. It works well both in large country yards and small urban plots. And this is one of the few times we tell children that it's okay to try to hit something. The fly is easy to make. Attach a cord through a hole in the rim of a frisbee. Tape pictures of a fly on each side of the disc. A 6-foot foam pool noodle cut in half becomes 2 fly swatters. Children can switch from dragging to swatting whenever they wish. Have the children all run in the same direction to avoid collisions. Remind children that only the flies get swatted. During warm weather, be sure children don't get overheated. Have plenty of drinking water on hand. If you object to swatting flies, put pictures of drums on the discs and have children chase the drums with their foam pool noodle drumsticks. Children with different running speeds can all play together. Slower children chase the slower flies, and faster children typically run after the faster flies.
So is it just me, or did that look like a lot of fun?
It's great for adults to play with children, too. And
so Lisa, next time we have a reunion with Tasty Tuesday and Spaker Spot, I might have to do this, chase the fly, or swat the fly, because this just looks fun.
Oh my gosh, Guy, that is exactly where I was when I was watching that. I thought, this is a Spaker. We got to do this.
Absolutely. So with that, Diane, I was wondering if you could, I know that today we just want to, create more awareness. I know you have a training coming up, and I'll put that on the screen in just a second, but just give our viewers a sense of, by, getting more awareness, what are you hoping to happen moving forward in this area, again, of this early childhood physical activity?
Well, I hope people understand the value of early childhood physical activity. And I think of that in terms of 3 domains. Socially and emotionally, it's when we're up and playing together, learning to share, take turns, giggling, that we develop positive attitudes toward physical activity and toward ourselves. In terms of the motor part, children need many opportunities to practice their fundamental movement skills running, hopping, throwing, kicking, catching, striking, volleying, and so forth. It doesn't emerge automatically. It's a function of practice. An example with throwing, if somebody has very little practice, they're likely to throw like this, just a push from the shoulder. But if you get a lot of practice, then you can develop a much more mature throw that's going to make you want to participate in physical activities, potentially for a lifetime. And we're not talking college athletic scholarships here. We're just talking enjoyment of being physically active. And cognitively, there's no doubt significant academic delays for children because of COVID.
Mhm.
So being able to be up and active helps our brains stay alert. We're more focused, we're more attentive, we're more ready to do the academic part and retain it if we also have lots of physical activity breaks. So I guess the bottom line for me is to remember that active play is the antidote to toxic stress. And adults, let's get out there and have fun with the children, give them many opportunities to be active themselves, and it's going to help us get through the pandemic and forward better.
Absolutely. Great points that you made. And all I can say, Diane, is, I've actually had the privilege on this show in the last 2 months to talk to some of our social motion learning, specialists and experts to talk on that topic. And we've seen a spike, if you would, where anxiety is right now for that, again, for young people, where that is quadrupled since the pandemic began. And you're exactly right. It's certainly also for adults. And it's so great to hear you say that and share that. So I was wondering now if you could tell us, our listeners, about an upcoming event. And it's going to be on, I believe, March 6th. And tell us a little bit about the new program. Or I'm sorry, the training.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, Guy, I think you can see just in this short interview how amazing Diane and her knowledge is. Missouri has worked with Diane in the past a few times, and we are so excited to bring her back. And so we are featuring her in a training called More Than Child's Play. It is happening this Saturday, March 6th, from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. And it's a virtual training, so all are invited, and it's going to be so fantastic. I'm very excited about it.
I am too, and all I can say is, Dan, we can't wait, because I think we might have to do, some sort of, post session. We actually do that quite a bit these days. So we're really excited about, you coming to our state and working with us. And with that, Lisa, you know how our audience loves resources. So talk to us about this one.
Yes. Okay. So this is actually the MoveSmart website link. And if people go there, they can find all of the information about becoming a MoveSmart childcare. They can find resources for activity. They will find links to Diane Craft's activities. And also, a couple years ago, Missouri actually filmed some of her fantastic ideas and activities. She worked with Department of Health and Senior Services, and they filmed a child care in Jefferson City participating in the activities, and they're so fun. Swat the Fly is just the tip of the iceberg. So it's amazing. It's a wonderful resource, and we're so lucky.
So just to let our viewers know, we're actually going to post this link inside the description of this YouTube video that you're watching now. Again, we want to make sure all those resources are available. And then, Lisa, we're doing something new for the first time. And there's actually a way that people can ask questions and even get in contact with us on this. So I wonder if you explain this.
So that is our MoveSmart web address. People can send an email, ask a question, and there you go, movesmart@health.mo.gov, and all your questions will be answered to the best of our ability.
Absolutely. Well, that's excellent. So with that, Lisa, first of all, it's great having you again, back on camera. It's been a little while. I know it's a little weird not wearing the apron, right? And making some incredible food or snacks, right? But with that, this is really a really amazing thing. Great focus going on right now. And I think I said this to Diane off camera. I've got two grandbabies. They were born like 30 days apart. And you really opened up my eyes. I've been talking to my two older daughters about this again to get them started, and this is really exciting. So I'm just telling you right now, as grandpa, I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention to your videos, looking at resources, sending to my daughters, and using these things actually when they come over to my house and when we're all together again. So I want to thank you for that. So with that, Diane, is there any final word that you'd like to share with our audience?
Just enjoy being physically active. It's great in so many ways.
Well, very good. I just want to thank you again. Want to thank our viewers for tuning in. I'd like to think that we've provided some great references and resources to you. Lisa, thank you for putting right there on the screen, right there, the MoveSmart at health.mo.gov. That email address, you can send in your questions. And I know that Lisa and her team are very diligent on getting back fairly quickly. And we want to thank you for tuning in to, again, another amazing edition as we talk today about early childhood physical activity. For my guest, I am Guy Danoff, and we want to thank you for watching another episode here on Mo Health Media. Thank you.